We always knew that smoking and drinking too much and poor eating can shorten your life.
But what we didn't know is there's four more bad habits that can have as great an impact on your life, if not more.
And there were actually more than four. We condensed it for
Well,
this.
these are the top four that we came up with that we thought were worth sharing, that when we found out about them, realized we really need to pay attention.
You know, when we began our retirement journey a few years ago, we did what many people do. We relaxed, we took it easy, we drank too much, and we ate way too much of all of the wrong food.
And we also traveled the globe. We entertained family and friends.
That part was fun.
It was fun, but we realized after 12 months of doing this that things had to change. We were living on a slippery slope and we were sliding downhill.
We were, especially you.
Yeah, I was.
So we decided to make some change, and we now have healthier habits for things like nutrition, physical wellness, mental wellness, and many more.
So, our goal today is to reveal some new bad habits that you may not think about too much.
It's hard to say, too, new bad habits. It sounds
Yeah.
like you want new bad habits.
Well, no, we don't. We want to eliminate these for sure.
So let's jump in and at least disclose them to you so you can reflect and see if they're in your life, because you need to know they will shorten your life.
Now, bad habit number one, not getting enough sleep or poor quality sleep. A day doesn't go by that you and I don't run into someone who tells us they don't get enough sleep. And this is an area that you and I started working on really hard about a year and a half ago.
And it's funny because when we first started working on it, our friends, our children, a lot of our family, even I made fun of you for wanting to really focus on sleep.
You did.
But here's what can happen to you if you don't. You will get sick more often. Your heart actually suffers. Coronary heart disease and stroke becomes more of a risk. You increase your certain types of risk of cancer. And it hurts your cognitive abilities. We all do that. You don't get enough sleep and you say, I don't remember this, it's hard for me to make decisions, and it's really hard to be a problem solver.
And the other things that are tied into poor sleep or not enough sleep is weight gain. And as you get older, like I am, you're not getting older, I'm getting older.
I'm going the other way.
You are. It increases your chance of diabetes. According to research, most people need between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. Now, everyone's different, and there's those people that say, "Oh, I only need 4 hours and I'm still great." Well, that's wonderful. Imagine how great they'd be if they did 7 hours of sleep.
And while everyone is different, it's also different at different stages of
It
your
is.
life, right? I remember having very small children and working a ton, and if I could get 5 hours of sleep, it was like bonus.
Right.
So now you have to really focus on it at this phase of life.
So don't forget about that. Poor sleep or not enough sleep.
Bad habit number 2 is not getting enough social interaction. Mark and I talk about this a lot. Humans are social animals. We thrive on this, and without it, we suffer. When we were younger, we had many places for social interaction.
We did. We certainly, for one, we had our careers. You had all your work family. 8 hours a day, you're with these people all day long. And also just our social friends playing golf and, all of the people that we hung out with. But as we age and we spend more time alone with each other, but wait, that didn't sound right, with each other. As we spend more time alone, you can find yourself in trouble. And it's the fact that 28% of older adults live alone now.
And much like poor sleep, here is what the lack of social interaction can do to you. It can actually increase your blood pressure. It can affect heart disease, obesity, and anxiety.
And on top of that, it can give you depression, cognitive decline, again, just like sleep, a weakened immune system, and also an increase in Alzheimer's disease and even death.
So what you have to do is understand where your bad habits are coming from. The first one we talked about was poor sleep. The second one is low or lack of social interaction. And if you have both, think about it. You double down on
Right.
a lot of these diseases as you age.
You know, I love this quote by Stephen Cole that says, loneliness acts as a fertilizer for other diseases. So if you're finding yourself lonely or you have friends who are lonely, you really can reach out and help. Now, Jody and I hope you're finding this helpful, and if you do, please hit the like button and subscribe button so that you can share it with your friends. We really would appreciate that. But bad habit number 3, and this is a new one for us that we're starting to really pay attention to.
It's actually a new one for you,
Yes.
not a new one for me.
Okay, a new one for us. I like to do things as a team. There's no
Okay.
word letter I in the word team,
Unless
Jody.
you're from a foreign country.
Okay. Bad habit number 3, eating too much red meat. Now, we've heard this before, but our research revealed more than we actually knew.
You know, the National Cancer Institute in Maryland did a study, and they actually linked red meat to 8 diseases: cancer, type 2 diabetes, stroke, infections.
And it also increases diseases of the kidney, the heart, the respiratory tract, and the liver. And the study went on to say it lasted for 16 years. But the people that consumed the most red meat during that 16 years, they had a 26% higher rate of death from one of the diseases we mentioned just above.
Now, you know, it's important to see a nutritionist at this phase of life. We think so. And we did that, and it worked wonders. And it's not easy to eliminate things that are comfort food, things that you loved, things that you grew up eating, or things that you just kind of crave. But you know, we limit our red meat. In fact, I pretty much don't eat it at all, and eat more fish and legumes and leafy greens.
Chicken. We eat a lot of chicken.
And chicken.
Yep.
We eat a lot of
Yep.
chicken. So if you think about it, poor sleep, low social interaction, and eating a lot of red meat
The trifecta,
can kill you.
it can. So we need to take this seriously. We really do. So bad habit number 4 is worrying or having a negative outlook on life. You know, many of us do worry from time and time again, and we're working really hard on not behaving that way.
And you know, maybe you're a chronic worrier and you always have been. And you kind of luff it off by saying, I accept that as who I am. But we want you to try really hard to change that. And by changing it, change your vernacular around it. Maybe don't use the word worry. Maybe don't use the word stress.
Right.
Maybe use the word I need to learn, or I want to grow,
Or I'm thinking about
it.
Yeah,
right.
we challenge each other every day not to use the word worry.
Right.
You know, chronic worry and emotional stress, they trigger a host of health problems. So if you're a worrier or emotionally stressed, it leads to overeating, smoking, excessive drinking, and sometimes drugs.
And you know, chronic worrying really triggers that fight or flight response. And that trigger right there releases stress hormones, especially cortisol.
Yeah, and if your body's releasing a lot of cortisol, then that can boost your sugar levels. So all of that can cause a fast heartbeat, fatigue, headaches, and sometimes irritability.
Yeah,
right?
it can also produce nausea responses, rapid breathing, muscle tension, and definitely a shortness of breath.
I think you guys know what it feels like to be a worrier. And what we're telling you is to work on a way not to do it. Because frankly, 99% of the things you worry about don't even happen.
You know, we do work hard at this, and we do try not to use that word. And I hate to bring this part up because I know we bring it up a lot. But we also work hard and challenge you to work hard on your mindfulness.
Yeah, it's those two things. We try to eliminate the word, and we both meditate on a regular basis to help calm your thinking and give you room. So, anyway, it's not all doom and gloom. You know, now that you're aware of these 4 bad habits, you know, make some changes. Write it down, journal about it, but don't do it just for you. Do it for your family.
And think about what we said today. Poor sleep, too much red meat, low social interaction, and too much worry in your life. Those are 4 things that you can actually work on. Put the work in so you can change.
We hope you enjoyed this. Please share with your friends and please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button so you always get our latest episodes. And finally, join our Facebook community. The link is in the notes below.
Thanks, and we look forward to seeing you again.